Non-citizens can participate in California elections in certain cities, but one lawyer is doing what he can to stop that based on the state's constitution. He says there are ethical reasons behind his actions, too.
Several California cities have taken measures to allow non-citizens to vote in school board elections. In August, James Lacey, an attorney and political commentator, sued the city of Oakland for that kind of measure. He explains to California Insider's Siamak Karami why it violates the California Constitution and Elections Code.
When you stop and think about, well, all right, a person who is a non-citizen is certainly a citizen of somewhere else.
Of another country.
Of another country, right. And by not giving up that citizenship and seeking U.S. citizenship, what you're allowing to happen is individuals to come in who haven't professed an allegiance to this nation and who might be unwilling to give up citizenship in another nation that doesn't afford them the same democratic voting rights that we do.
Back in March, Lacey sued and won the case against San Francisco that overturned the controversial law that allows non-citizens to vote in the city's local election.
4 years ago, on the third or fourth attempt at a ballot initiative, progressives in San Francisco by 54% passed a law that allowed for non-citizens to vote in school board elections. The underlying idea being to allow non-citizens who are parents of kids in schools to have some sort of a say in who was elected to their school board.
The law had a sunset provision to extend it to be citywide. So when the Board of Supervisors voted to extend the law, Lacey was able to sue it within a 60-day window, challenging its constitutionality.
So we went ahead and we filed for what's called a writ of mandate to have a permanent injunction on extending that vote. And our argument was that under a clear provision of the California Constitution, only citizens of the United States 18 years or older may vote. And it's alarming that this ballot initiative even got on the ballot and was allowed to have a vote, and it was a failure of the attorneys who advised the cities.
Eventually, the judge ruled in favor of Lacey's argument and won. Lacey points out that in a close election where the outcome is decided by a handful of votes and non-citizens voted, the election would effectively be decided by their presence. He said it undermines the integrity of the entire voting process.
A recent study revealed that rich young professionals are fleeing more from certain states compared to others. The main reason is the high cost of living.
Young professionals are leaving California for greener pastures, and the reason comes down to money. Sarah Gerber is one of the many who left. She is founder of Momentum Financial Planning and wanted to leave California for a while. She finally moved to Colorado with her husband in January 2021.
I'm originally from Illinois. I grew up with horses and goats on a farm outside Chicago and was excited for just more space. Excited to kind of be able to buy a house somewhere, be able to prepare for a family and really kind of do those next life things. And while we loved Berkeley so much, it was just time. It was ready. And he got a job out up here near Broomfield. And we thought it was time to make the leap.
During pandemic lockdowns, San Francisco saw the largest median income drop in the country as wealthy tech workers left in droves. Data from the U.S. Census Bureau shows median household income from the San Francisco, Berkeley, and Oakland area fell nearly 5% in the last 3 years. It is the largest decrease among the 25 most populous U.S. cities studied. People are not just leaving the Bay Area, but the state. According to new research by the Census Bureau and Harvard University, rich young professionals are leaving California and New York for places like Texas and Florida. Between 2019 and 2020, the study looked at individuals younger than age 35 with adjusted gross incomes of at least $100,000. California saw a net migration of about minus 8,000, with 20,000 people moving in and 28,000 moving out. New York saw double that, with a net migration of about minus 16,000, with about 13,000 moving in and 29,000 moving out. Both Texas and Florida saw a net migration of over 3,000, Texas plus 3,800 and Florida plus 3,400. In an email statement to NTD, the managing editor of financial education at Smart Asset said one reason is affordability. Florida and Texas, which are the two states that gain the most rich young professionals, levy no income tax and have a reputation for affordability. In addition, a recent poll from UC Berkeley shows 49% of Californians are in favor of Proposition 30. It would increase taxes for those who make more than $2 million by 1.75%. These funds would go to zero emissions vehicles and wildfire prevention programs. Prop 30 will be on the ballot this November.
Speaking of the high cost of living, buying homes in California is no joke, as housing prices have skyrocketed recently. But buying a home in the state may become less expensive next year, according to market forecasts.
The California Association of Realtors, or CAR, released its housing market forecast on Wednesday. The median home price in California is forecasted to drop to about $758,000 in 2023. Although it's still a hefty number, that's an 8.8% decrease from the projected value of about $831,000 in 2022. According to CAR, California prices have been steadily increasing since 2016, with a large spike in prices in 2021. They shot up 19.3% that year. 2023 is the first expected negative change in prices since then. A recent Zillow report showed that the average price of a home in Southern California has dropped 6% since May. That's the biggest drop since 2012. But despite dropping prices, housing affordability is expected to drop too. The number of people who can afford median-priced homes is expected to decrease to 18% next year from the projected 19% in 2022.
A former California attorney was sentenced last week for his involvement with the notorious Sinaloa cartel. The U.S. Attorney's Office had previously designated him under the Foreign Narcotics Kingpin Designation Act for laundering money for top cartel leaders.
41-year-old Juan Manuel Alvarez Inzuza of San Diego was sentenced in a federal court after pleading guilty earlier this year to one count of conspiracy to launder monetary instruments. According to prosecutors, Alvarez Inzuza coordinated the movement of more than $4 million in drug proceeds for the Sinaloa cartel. He was involved with top cartel leadership, including Joaquin El Chapo Guzman and Ismael El Mayo Zambada. He arranged for couriers to pick up drug money in the United States and worked with people to transfer the funds to Mexico and other countries. Frederick Carroll, Alvarez Inzuza's attorney, wrote in a sentencing brief that his client previously worked as a civil attorney in Mexico. He said, quote, "A series of small decisions to work with these people ultimately resulted in a situation where he could not extricate himself from his newfound employer, a situation he deeply regrets now." Alvarez Inzuza was indicted and arrested in Mexico in 2015 and was extradited to the United States last year. A San Diego federal judge sentenced him to 188 months in prison. David Lamb, NTD News, California.
Digital license plates are now an approved option for all drivers in California. NTD's Jason Blair spoke with a company who makes the plates to find out more about their features, benefits, and possible risks.
California will now allow digital license plates as a legal alternative to conventional plates. After a pilot program, Governor Gavin Newsom signed a bill last month making the option available to all businesses and residents across the state.
The way that, government's been set up when it comes to compliance and, dealing with your license plate, it's usually kind of an arduous process. And our biggest thing is to simplify it.
Boston said that their digital plate is an e-ink bistable screen that is Bluetooth enabled and has an LTE connection. It allows the owner to renew their registration without having to step foot in a DMV. Other benefits include visual personalization options and safety features.
So we're able to track your mileage, geofence, particular locations, be able to streamline, your maintenance and, all kinds of other things through our platform.
Boston says that within about 30 days, towing will also be available to do through the plate, and in 2023, they plan on integrating parking. Reviver is so far the only company that makes digital license plates that have been approved for use. In addition to plates for personal use, the company also makes one for business fleets. Like the personal one, it has the advantage of keeping vehicles in DMV compliance, but also has other useful capabilities.
We have, safety and security alerts. Like if your vehicle was stolen, you can actually put stolen on the plate. Inclement weather, alerts and things like that. Our platform enables the ability for you to do that.
While these features sound great, some people might be wondering about the privacy and security risks.
People's information is sacrosanct, and I would say that we are focused on making sure that the data that you have, you control. So with our GPS unit, you have the ability to turn it on and off. So the user has control over that data and information.
Boston also said that the platform is more secure than an online banking session. In addition to California, Michigan, and Arizona also have the option for digital plates for all drivers. In Texas, they are available for commercial fleets, and Florida for government use. Personal plates run about $20 a month or $215 if paid yearly with a 4-year commitment. Commercial plates run about $25 a month and $275 if paid yearly. Jason Blair, NTD News, California.